o'clock in the morning at a park off of a main highway.
So your GPS tracking of your husband while he's on duty demonstrated that he was at a park for an extended period of time at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, it did.
Okay, and do you believe that he was with another woman again?
Yes, he was, because of the girl stayed probably about 2 minutes away from the park.
So it was really right around the corner from her house?
Yeah, and I know for known fact he's seeing this girl at this time because her dad told me.
Her dad said she's having a relationship with your husband?
Yes, that's correct, because the way I found out is her dad come to my job and let me know that my husband was coming to his home in the patrol car on duty, seeing his daughter.
He visits his daughter. Is that inside the city limits or outside the city limits?
It's outside the city limits.
So he's visiting her at her residence outside of the city that he patrols?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and give me the name of his city again. What's the name of it?
It's Maxton, North Carolina.
Maxton. Can you spell it for me?
Maxton.
Maxton, North Carolina. Okay. And about how many officers work for that department, if you know?
After 1 o'clock, there's only one.
So he'd be the only one on duty?
That's correct.
Okay. Is there anything else that he's done that you've reported to the police that they have failed to address?
Yeah, incident happened here a few months ago that a female that works at a convenience store there in Maxton, him and her was seeing each other, and she's married. And I let her husband know that, I suspected that they were seeing each other, because when I go through the town, that he would be in there in the store almost he would be literally leaned over the counter, talking to this female. Well, he walks up on them one night in the convenience store, talking. Well, from what I gather, he was touching the female. And this lady's husband goes in the convenience store and picks him up by the knees while he is on duty and throws him. The department did not do anything about it.
So wait a minute, they got into a fight at the convenience store where this other woman is working?
Yep.
Her husband picked him up and threw him into the shelf?
Yep.
While he was in his police uniform?
While he was on duty.
And what date was this, if you know?
I have no idea, baby. My assumption is that could be pulled up because they have cameras in the store.
Okay, well, how did you find out about it? How did you know that it happened?
This female's husband called me and let me know, and also another officer that works, or past tense, used to work at the department, called me and told me about it.
So they may have a record of it in their internal files, right?
That's correct. I'm sure that they do have a record of it in their files.
Okay, and do you know when it happened generally, just like a ballpark?
It was probably around March, maybe.
Okay, but it was this year?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, last question. What do you want as an outcome? What are you looking for to happen? Do you want him fired? Do you want him punished? You want him told not to do this again?
The incident with the car, him going over out of his work area, seeing this female for the last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
He was put on. He was investigated, and it come up that it was true. He was put on probation for probably 2 weeks.
So they did do some discipline.
Yeah, he was put on probation for 2 more weeks.
Okay. All right, and that was a result of you calling them and letting them know.
Well, no, it was actually a result of this child's daddy calling the department and telling them that he did not appreciate an officer on duty sitting inside his home for hours at a time talking to his daughter while he's supposed to be at work.
So he would be in her house for hours at a time and not patrolling the neighborhoods?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
and
pretty...
to my personal opinion, with a 4-year degree, I think he should have been terminated.
Okay. Okay, last couple of questions I have. I do have a few more now. He was disciplined then. He's been disciplined a couple of times. Do you want him disciplined again is my question.
I terminate him.
Okay. All right.
By incident of last night, he hasn't paid me any child support in a month. He said he sent it, and my lawyer is actually fixing to go and file a, what is it, what did he call it? Attempt to court or whatever, because he's not paying his child support.
Mm-hmm.
He said he sent it, and he obviously hasn't seen it because I asked him, at work last night, did you send it or what's going on? And he said he sent it. He gets an attitude at the department while we're standing outside and cusses me for everything there is in uniform at the department.
And they still don't do anything.
His boss was standing there.
So he was using profanity while you guys were talking?
The exact words he said to me last night was, you need to get in that GD truck and get the F out of my parking lot and move that truck out of my driveway.
Well, do me a favor, because I'm making a record. I need to know exactly what he said. Say the words that he used.
Okay. He says, you need to get your ass in that goddamn truck and go to fuck home and get that piece of shit out of my motherfucking driveway.
And he was talking about the police department driveway.
Yeah.
And his supervisor was standing there with him?
One of the investigators was standing there.
Okay, do you know which
and
one?
All I responded to him and said was, you do not have to cuss me like that.
What was the witness's name? The investigator who was standing there. What was his name?
Darren. I don't know his last name. His first name is Darren.
Okay. All right. Let me tell you what.
Darren is he is an investigator for Maxton Police Department. He was letting me know last night that the department is watching my ex, and the 80% of the rumors that's going on in town is actually true.
Let me stop you there. I want to talk to this guy, Darren, because if he heard, first of all, if you want your husband punished, disciplined, or fired, there is a process, obviously, and we need evidence to present to tell them the reasons why he needs to be fired. So I'm going to be collecting some of that evidence. Is there anything else you want to tell me about what happened or any other instance I need to be aware of?
Yeah, there was one more incident, and I couldn't understand why the department didn't do anything, and I asked the department why they didn't do anything.
Okay, when did the incident happen, and tell me what happened?
It was back in February. I got a call from a convenience store right there in town, and they said there was two girls out there fighting. This is the most busiest store that they have, and from what I gathered, it was an older lady in her 40s and a young girl around 18 years old. And what it was he was seeing both of the females. They get into a fight at the convenience store. He is the officer on duty and gets called out. Instead of him, I guess, charging one or the other, he was unable to charge either female and let both of them go and destroyed them, and he destroyed all the records.
So these are two women who he was seeing both of them, and they were fighting over him at a convenience store?
Yeah.
Were either of these two women,
Her family, it was her and her friends and this other girl and some of her friends, and they were literally fighting in a convenience store over him.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to contact the police department, and do you want this investigated?
I want it investigated, and the department thinks it's funny. They've told me that they've done all the investigating that they were going to do.
Okay, well, we'll see about that. I'm going to talk to them about this. All right, let me just stop the recorder here.